Okay, well here I am at Hampton Court Palace, and I thought I'd talk to you today about Prest and Petrodel, which relates to a very nice house, a sort of £4 million house, not quite as big as the one behind me, Hampton Court Palace, the Tudor palace of King Henry VIII and subsequent monarchs, but nevertheless a substantial asset in Prest. Why is the case important? Well, it involves a number of legal issues. You have company law issues in the guise of separate corporate personality. You have family law issues in the guise of matrimonial proceedings before the family court of first instance. Insolvency issues that we'll touch on, and then also, of course, trust issues, particularly in the context of resulting trusts. And that's how we'll deal with the case. So when you're reading it, do think about the other elements of the case, but in particular think about the resulting trust, particularly the commercial deployment, you might say, of the resulting trust. These are the facts. You basically had a divorce proceeding that was ongoing. The husband acted, according to Lord Sumption anyway, with some dubious intent, in that he was not entirely open about the assets that were his. So as a result of that kind of activity, as the case progressed through the various levels, at first instance in the family division, the Court of Appeal, and then finally the Supreme Court, we see some behaviour that's where a dim view is taken of that kind of behaviour, which is interesting because the assets that the wife was after, in essence, eventually, as we will see, were owned by the company. So legal title to the house, which was the subject matter of the litigation, a very expensive house, was vested in the company of which he was in charge of, and of course a major shareholder of. So this gets litigated. The division of assets, of course, is important for the divorce. At first instance, she gets a favourable outcome because the family division are prone to lift the veil of incorporation to identify assets for the benefit of divorce proceeding claimants, the wives, for example, or husbands. But eventually it goes up to the Court of Appeal, then the Supreme Court, where the justices, as they now are, of course, and particularly Lord Sumption, decide that in fact a resulting trust exists that is able to hoik out the asset value from the company and put it in his estate pursuant to the resulting trust, and therefore be available for the divorce proceedings, ergo for the wife. You may have seen my article on Prest, where I lament the position of secured and unsecured creditors of the companies, because of course those assets that the company bought were bought well before the couple even started their relationship. So it's quite problematic, really, when you think of it, judgment from the perspective of creditors anyway. Of course, it's good for the wife, because if the value is hoiked out pursuant to a resulting trust into the husband's estate as opposed to the company's estate, it is available for her, and indeed it was. So have a look at this decision from all those perspectives: family law, company law, insolvency law, but most importantly trusts law, to see how a resulting trust can operate to remove value from a separate legal juristic person into a shareholder's estate, and therefore make it available for the purposes of a divorce proceedings. So from here at Hampton Court Palace on this fine sunny day, if you're in London, southwest London, you get a chance to visit it, you should. It's very nice. I'm off to see Henry VIII's kitchen, on which point I bid you goodbye. So goodbye.